Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Outcast is the name, and today we are looking at the one and only Excalibur, the poster boy for all Warframe on all platforms. So let's break down exactly what I use on him and why. So I run Steel Charge, as the 60% extra melee damage is perfect for him, as he is very heavily designed for melee builds. He comes, especially if you eventually get Excalibur Umbra like I have, he comes with the Sciarjati, which is a type of Nakana, a type of katana blade, and for that reason we want to maximize that. When you get Excalibur Umbra, you will get Umbral Intensify that increases ability strength, and Umbral Vitality that increases health, and I believe you also get Umbral Fiber. I believe it's Umbral Fiber. If you're doing this on the normal Excalibur, that's fine. Swap these out for normal Vitality, normal Intensify, or you can do what I've done in previous videos and run the Augur mod sets, as they're lower on the consumption of capacity, but have a set bonus and give you things like strength, range, efficiency. I'm then running Carnis Carapace for the extra armor and health, Primed Flow for the energy maximum, Prime Continuity for ability duration, Augur Reach for range, Streamline for efficiency, and Hunter's Adrenaline to convert 45% of damage on health into energy. I'm then running my standard setup, which is more augmented for the ability strength and arcane energize for the chance to replenish 150 energy. Now, I have stressed in previous videos other options you can use, as I know arcane energize is very expensive and most new players aren't going to touch it. So if you're unsure of what you can use, check out the previous videos. I'm lucky enough to have it, so I use it, as it is probably the best arcane on the game for use around the board on all different frames. Granted, specific builds won't need it, but majority of builds, people are going to tell you to put arcane energize on. Now, what I would say is Excalibur, for me personally, hasn't been someone I've took into the later missions, the Steel Path. I have the footage you'll be seeing very shortly is from Steel Path, so he does work, he will kill, and you know, I'm sure as you develop you'll find him more viable at heavier hitting enemy levels. However, for me personally, I've really avoided him later on in the game, as I put a hell of a lot of time into him when I first started, as he's who I picked at the beginning. And I'm not too sure my playstyle suits him, as I like the tanks, the overguard frames, that's my playstyle. But this build will kill Steel Path and will shred the standard star chart, no issues whatsoever. Like I say, if you're using standard Excalibur, you won't have the Umbral mod, so just put the standard variants in. Now, I do have a potato on him, or as it's better known, an Orokin reactor, but I have not formed this build at all. This is a zero former, just with an Orokin reactor on, and try it out. Now, let's break down what his kit is, what his abilities do, and why most players on Warframe pick him to begin with. So guys, here is the full breakdown of his kit, why he's so effective at what he does, and why everyone picks him to begin with. I picked him, my brother picked him, my cousin picked him, most people I know and most players I've spoke to, Excalibur's the go-to, because a lot of the others are more effective once you're later in the game and understand the concept a little bit better, whereas for me Excalibur was the easiest option. He's very viable to use as you progress, he's very fun to play as, and he's very simple, which makes learning the game and being new that much easier, because you're not spending all your time focusing on how his abilities work, or you just can enjoy him straight away. But his first ability is Slash Dash. Now, Slash Dash does exactly what it says on the tin. You will slash and dash towards enemies, and this is very good for movement as well as damage. And what you'll find is this is probably his least used ability until you get later on and you start using it to avoid taking damage or to hit enemies faster, as it's almost like a teleport. It's not instant, but it's very quick to activate, and it's very quick to hit the target you're aiming towards, and it will chain enemies. So this can reach an enemy at 26 meters, and any within that target's 9.1 meter radius, it can then hit them as well, and it will dash through multiple, and it does 387.5 damage with my build. Very simple to use. His second ability, Radial Howl, lets out a war cry essentially that stuns enemies and turns them blind essentially, so they won't be able to shoot, they won't react, they won't move out the way, they will just be a standing target. This has a radius on my build of 32.5 meters and a duration of 23.25 seconds. So that's quite a lot of time to output lots of damage and clear most of the enemies before they even can see you again. His third ability, Radial Javelin. Now, Radial Javelin does what it says on the tins. In a certain radius, javelins will come up out the ground and impale enemies, inflicting bleed status. Now, with my build, this has a radius of 32.5 meters and a damage of 1550 per enemy. So those two abilities used together, Radial Howl and Radial Javelin, will blind and then mass damage enemies, so they work together as CC. They are both individually great CC abilities, but combined together, super effective. Then the best piece of his kit is his fourth, and that is his Exalted Blade. It's a pseudo melee weapon, so this is buffed based on what melee you're running with him, which if you build his Scareggiati, you can input crazy amounts of damage to his Exalted Blade, and he essentially summons a sentient blade of energy. This drains 1.13 energy per second with my build, which is nothing, with a damage of 387.5. Now, he will also, every time you hit a certain combo, so every 5th attack or something like that, he will blind. He has a chance to essentially do a mini Radial Howl, where his Exalted Blade will actually stab the air and do a very similar effect. So his blind radius is 6.5 meters, and that will last 9.3 seconds. So if you use his Exalted Blade, you can essentially just slash and dash through them with the Exalted Blade while blinding them consistently, and it makes him a very good CC frame and a very good DPS. Like I say, I personally don't take him that far into Steel Path, as he's just not a frame that I overly use anymore. But this build and this format of how I play him definitely will smoke the standard star chart, and you will have lots of fun using Excalibur like many of us already have. And that's the breakdown of his kit. He's a very simple frame to use. If you want to copy the build, do try it out. Let me know. Let me know improvements if you watch this and have any ideas that would make this even better, or any advice on how I could use him more prolonged into the later game, then let me know down below. If you enjoyed, drop a like and a comment, and of course if you are new, subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest content. That is it from me. I'm out. Peace.